In the world of football, we often hear stories of great rivalries, legendary players, and historic victories. But every so often, a story emerges that goes far beyond the game itself. One of these stories is that of Club Deportivo Euzkadi, a team that didn't just play for glory or fame but for freedom and survival. To understand Euzkadi, we have to go back to the late 1930s, to a time of political turmoil, civil war, and a people's struggle for independence. The Spanish Civil War, which erupted in 1936, was a bloody conflict that divided Spain and claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. At the center of this conflict was a battle between the Republican government and the nationalist forces led by General Francisco Franco. Among those deeply impacted by the war were the Basque people in northern Spain, who had long fought to maintain their cultural identity and autonomy. With the nationalists threatening their way of life, Basque leaders realized they needed an innovative way to rally international support. So they turned to one of the region's greatest strengths, football. In 1937, Basque government officials and football enthusiasts came together to form Club Deportivo Euzkadi, a national team that would represent the Basque region abroad. This wasn't just a football team, it was a symbol of resistance, pride, and the Basque spirit. The players who joined Euzkadi came from various Basque clubs, including prominent teams like Athletic Bilbao and Real Sociedad, and they brought with them the hopes and dreams of the Basque people. The team was made up of star players from Spain's top league La Liga, which had been disrupted by the war. Some of the biggest names on the roster included Luis Regueiro, Isidro Langara, and José Irarrágorri, players who were revered across Spain for their skill and passion. To lead them, they appointed Pedro Vallana, a respected manager who shared their vision of using football as a form of peaceful protest. Euzkadi's mission was ambitious. They would embark on an international tour, playing in countries across Europe and the Americas to bring awareness to the Basque struggle. Their first stop was in France, where they played a series of matches against local teams, drawing large crowds and considerable media attention. These games weren't just friendly exhibitions. They were a platform to tell the world about the horrors of the Spanish Civil War and the plight of the Basque people. However, as the nationalists gained ground in Spain, it became clear that Euzkadi couldn't return home. Their journey continued across the Atlantic to Latin America, where they sought a new audience and greater support. Their tour took them to Cuba and then to Mexico, where they joined the Mexican Primera Fuerza, the top-tier league in Mexico before the formation of today's Liga MX. Competing as a foreign team in Mexico's professional league was no easy feat. Euzkadi had to adjust to a new culture, a different style of play, and the challenges of being far from home. But they didn't just hold their own, they thrived. In the 1938-1939 season, Euzkadi finished second in the league, just 1 point behind champions Asturias FC, captivating Mexican fans with their skill, teamwork, and unique style. For many fans, Euzkadi wasn't just a football team. They were ambassadors of a distant, oppressed nation, playing with a fire that resonated with Mexico's own history of colonial struggle and resistance. But life on the road took its toll. Many of the players were homesick, and with the Spanish Civil War ending in 1939, their situation became even more uncertain. Some players decided to return to Europe, although going back to the Basque country meant facing the repression of Franco's new regime. Others chose to stay in Latin America, finding a new home and community among people who had come to admire them deeply. In 1939, Club Deportivo Euzkadi disbanded, and its players went their separate ways. But the impact of their journey endured. For the Basque people, Euzkadi became a symbol of resistance and pride. The team proved that football could be more than a game. It could be a powerful force for social and political change. Euzkadi's players weren't just athletes, they were representatives of a cause, using their talents on the pitch to share their people's story with the world. Club Deportivo Euzkadi remains one of football's most unique stories. a testament to the resilience of the Basque spirit. Their journey reminds us that football has the power to unite people across borders and to shine a light on struggles that might otherwise go unnoticed. And as we look back on Euzkadi's legacy, we're reminded of the countless ways that the beautiful game connects us all, not just through goals and trophies, but through stories of courage, solidarity, and freedom. So the next time you hear about football teams using their platforms for social causes, remember Club Deportivo Euzkadi. They were pioneers in using sport as a means of resistance, proving that sometimes the fight for justice can be as simple and as powerful as a game of football.